Yo, what's up? I didn't know what camera to look at.
Yo.
Look at both cameras. 114.
I do that quite often.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, I look at. I'm like, yeah.
Kind of get lost. Why does
Yeah.
it feel that much more echoey in here? I don't
does.
know. It does, right?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Are we just speaking loud? I
Is
don't think
it
so.
might just be like the lack of guys in here, you know? Like, you know, Joey and Jerry's bodies
Less
really do
flesh.
absorb a lot of
Yeah.
the sound in this
Like,
basement.
it's mostly Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry and his torso. You know?
Welcome to the Joystick Show. I'm Bobby's torso.
Yeah, I'm Dylan's torso and the rest of body.
And we wish that Joey and Jerry could be here to absorb the rest of that sound, but unfortunately they're off tonight. You know, they've got bigger, better plans to do than their actual jobs.
Yeah.
Can we just keep that as a joke here, that their actual, like everybody's actual job is the show
we pay
that
them a salary and
that
they're
we
bad.
make no money from at all, like not even pennies.
We're just running. We have to claim bankruptcy in 3 months.
Yeah.
But guys, to avoid the bankruptcy, you can like the video.
I like what you did
there. Seems like a pretty bad segue.
No, you gotta stop. You're already hitting it hard. We just started the fucking episode. We didn't even finish and tell them to subscribe to Team
I was gonna say
Joystick,
that,
so that we don't have to.
And then we'll tell you to comment
bankruptcy.
something also. That's usually part of it.
And worst comes to worst, even if we have to file in the next 3 months, it's gonna be a great 3 months. So stay tuned.
Hey.
We're going out with a bang. I'll tell you that much. Man, we really got to ramp this up into some more optimistic views for the channel. Started with like we're gonna die.
We're tanking.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're not. We're doing great.
Call this
honestly.
toll-free number.
Yeah, we're going into a really fun November, but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, I'm just interested in what you've been up to, because I feel like you've got something.
Yeah, I have a horrible experience I want to share with the. I would use the expression to share with the class.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say this was probably yesterday. I had maybe one of the most uncomfortable days I've ever had at school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know necessarily. First things first, just to get a little TMI. Horrible morning shit. Right? Just right off the bat.
Got you. Like when you mean horrible, like
very long.
God, painful.
Yeah, in every way that you could think of. Shitting being bad, this was.
Got you.
Right,
it's
like
one of those you have to lay back.
I woke up with the pain beforehand. You know, you could feel it moving through.
Was your shirt on?
I did it before the shower, so everything came off.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the
pre-strat.
And then I kept going to get up, and then I had to shit more, and I'm like, I have to shower, man. Please let me shower. But anyways, that's we're already, not a great start.
Anyways, right? for the 3 people who continued listening after that.
Yeah, so people are interested. And so I'm, and not the worst commute on the train, but my first class of the day, which is my gay literature course. We're reading a book that's really gay, and in turn, there is a gay sex scene in the book, right?
Okay.
Which would make sense for a gay novel. We had to read it out in class, swapping every paragraph to another person.
Yeah. And
you could tell by everyone's faces how who not who was gay and who wasn't, but I was looking around and I was like, damn, I'm not participating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because some people are they don't have a cadence, you know what I mean? They'll read dialogue and be like, Johnny went to grab his giant dick,
Yeah.
And then there's other people that it's they add a little flair on it.
A little bit too much.
Yeah. I was
kinda.
like, Claire, please, you're making this a little too sensual right now. It was 7 pages, just kept going. This scene, it was descriptive. His, metaphors and similes are only beautiful until you're talking about a gay man's butthole, and then it's not beautiful anymore, right? You know what I mean? It is no longer, we can't talk about beautiful imagery if that's the material we're ending up with.
Got you, yeah.
So that class wraps up with then a presentation about the book and how race and the Pope is involved, because it's there's this whole religion part of the book, because there's this taboo with gay and religion, and I'm like, this is way too much sensory overload already. And I know that in my next class, which is my advertising class, there's no sensory overload. We watch commercials. Sometimes it's a little crazy, but more often than not, it's okay. I don't know what got into my professor today. I feel like there was just a mist in the air where everyone was fucking reckless and just, acting weird. But my professor was really arrogant. Like, and I figured it out because I even messaged you, and I was like, you could tell when someone went to NYU film school.
Yeah.
Because they say in every sentence that they went to NYU film school.
Yep.
And I don't know why he waited today to be braggadocious, but he was like, you know, when I worked on these Burger King commercials, you know, like he was like trying to like really, you know, he was like, you know, he's like, you do the same shot for like 4 hours and she'd drink the apple juice, and you'd be like, not like that. Like he had like specific memories of like,
yeah.
And he was talking about how he was doing one that was like a historical commercial, because we were watching it was like we were talking about like copywriting and how to write a good ad, and we were focused on Apple and how they always, you know, Steve Jobs would be like the narrator and be beautiful because it'd be like a beautiful advertisement, and in the ad showed all these famous people like Thomas Edison, blah blah blah. He stops it. He's like, do you know who this person is? He's the first man to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. And so I raised my hand, someone else raised their hand, he called the other person, he's like, Charles Lindbergh? And he's like, yes, Charles Lindbergh.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's the only famous male pilot I know.
Exactly. It's like there's not much famous pilots.
It's like Lindbergh, Sullenberg.
Yeah. And then female pilot, you know which one, right?
Yeah, the one who didn't make it.
Yeah, the one who didn't make it. Which, by the way, that was his thing too. My professor kept teaching wrong things. Like he'd be like, and then this happened, and not true. You know what I mean? And then he was like Amelia Earhart, you know, because she was a woman. You know, he had like that.
Wow,
he had like that kind of energy, and he was like, he couldn't do what Lindbergh did, which is like wrong. She did the Pacific.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't work, because she had to refuel and there was a miscommunication, and then that's how she ended up crashing. But he just was like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, bro, I just told you the correct thing. And then he's like, you know, and people don't know this, but Charles Lindbergh, the biggest news headlines of the 20th century was Charles Lindbergh flying across the Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
And then Charles Lindbergh's baby being kidnapped. Yeah. And he then proceeds to go on for 10 minutes to describe on how the baby was murdered. He was like, and it was the glory and pride he felt in going across the Atlantic. And this is like
your marketing class.
This is advertising communications.
Got it. Yeah.
And he's like, the glory and utmost jubilance he felt flying was crushed when his baby was. And we're all looking around like, what the fuck? Like, when will he when will he change?
Yeah.
And
are you guys filming a commercial about it? Like, what the fuck? He's really passionate.
And after about 4 minutes, I was like, I didn't know aviation was this guy's fucking passion. He just segues it, and he's like, all right, that slides over now. Chick-fil-A. And then we go straight into like a case study about how like Chick-fil-A made cows cool, you know?
Okay.
And it was about how like their whole thing was like they would use cows in the advertisement because you're
like,
not don't eat us,
eat
the chicken. And I'm like, this is a complete 180 from Dead Baby story, you know? And I was like, why did he do that? Like I feel like, you know, and then in my Italian class, to wrap this up into a beautiful trauma ball, one of my students, who is a 55-year-old man in my Italian class, he's just taking it for the hell of it.
Yeah.
He's way into the class. He talks more than the professor.
Is this the guy who takes it OD seriously? Oh, I remember this guy.
Yes, yeah. He almost went beast mode on his wife for talking to the you see it get up like that. I'm like, oh shit, Giovanni, watch out. Finally, though, to wrap it all up, he kept giving like sample sentences that were like, I want to hit the child. We're like, bro, what the fucking sample? You know, all of his sample sentences were like really fucked up things. And we were like, Jonathan, is everything okay, Jonathan? And at the end of the day, I was like, what? Like, I feel like it's like The Happening, like with like Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg. There's just like a mist in the air that's just causing people to be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There was like mad, like, there's always people begging for money, but I feel like every half block there were people pressuring you to give them money. Like, it wasn't like spare some change. It was like, hey, give me money. And it's like, what is going on? Like, are we just going through tough times?
Man, something going around New York these days.
They're spraying something in the air before the elections.
Yeah.
To get conspiracy theory on it.
Wow, look at you, Dill. This is why we keep you around, man.
Mm-hmm. But man, what a horrible day. I hope your day wasn't as bad, because
I mean, I've just been chilling.
Yeah, you just been hanging out.
Yeah.
You didn't get exposed to the every emotion ever.
Yeah. Gas.
Yeah.
Fucking no. I mean, I've been feeling one big emotion lately, and that, oddly enough, is excitement. You know.
Yes.
Don't ask me why. For some reason, I'm oddly excited for my birthday this year, you know? I mean,
that's common.
You know, we've got some stuff in the works centered around it, like not in a braggadocious or pretentious way, but you know, maybe we will be celebrating me this month on Joystick in some talking about some interesting ways as the
head honcho
as the month continues. Don't stop. We're all in this together. If I knew the rest of the lyrics of the song, I would say it.
You be like the visionary or something like that.
Yeah, you know, fucking the director.
Yeah,
you know, we all need title names. We need to get on that. It's gonna be next creative meeting. Title names for everybody. Fucking anyway. You know, I've been oddly excited for my birthday, not just because of the content that we're making on Joystick for November, not just because it is my birthday, and not just because next week Wakanda Forever comes out, and I'm very excited to see that. But also because I'm planning to do a little, you know, fun thing on my birthday, like a little game night between friends. Like, you obviously know about this. I told you about it. But my little special twist on it is that it's going to be centered around trivia games.
Okay.
Because as you know,
you're a trivia
not
guy.
just you, but
I'm
you know,
trivia.
we love the trivia.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to tell you about the 3 trivia games I just ordered online for my game night, and I think you're gonna really be into them.
Okay.
So I'll start from the ones I think you're gonna think are the least coolest to the one I think you're gonna think is
the coolest.
The coolest. Yeah. So the first one that I got is this game called Color Brain. Pretty cool card game where every player gets a deck, or not a deck, but a handful of cards that are all different colors: red, blue, green, yellow, black, white, all of them. And all of the trivia cards, the answers to them are colors. So some of them are really easy. They might be like, what are the colors of Dorothy's shoes in The Wizard of Oz? And you put red. What are the colors on the American flag? And you put red, white, and blue, right? If everybody gets it right, nobody gets a point. But there are harder cards that will start to divide the group. You'll start getting cards like, what are the colors on the Venezuelan flag?
Oh, yes.
You'll start getting cards like, what are the colors of the 5 Olympic rings? And you got to put 5 color cards down.
Nice.
So it's a trivia color game that's pretty fun. And I bought that because I thought it'd be pretty fun to play in a group setting.
Yes.
So that's Color Brain. Second one I got, I think it's the one I'm most excited for. It's called Linky. Don't ask me why this guy's face is on the box. Nick Jonas. I don't
Linky
know.
with a Nick Jonas.
I don't know, man. But the game is pretty cool.
Sounds like a hoot and a holler.
Yeah, right. It's an interesting trivia game. It's a team-based trivia game where teams face off against each other to solve trivia questions on a card. So the card will have 4 trivia questions that seemingly have nothing to do with each other, right? So just to give you an example, you might get a card, and the first trivia question might be, what is the name of a popular 2000s animated cartoon about lab rats named Blank and the Brain? And it'd be Pinky, right? Yeah. You'd get another question under that. That'd be like the name of a popular 90s horror movie about a girl who comes out of a TV to kill victims. The Ring, right? And then you might get another one under that. There's always 4, and you might get another one under that that's like
Pinky Ring.
A page that starts the beginning of a book that tells you where the chapters are, and you'd be like, oh, the index.
Oh, they're all fingers.
So it's your job not only to get the questions right, but to figure out how they're linked. So the first team to figure out the link gets the point.
Oh, shit.
So it's kind of cool because you're like basically scrambling to figure it out as fast as you can. You don't even technically have to answer all the questions. You just have to find the link. So it's kind of cool. So I got that one.
I like that.
And now the third one, the one I thought you would think is probably the most interesting. I got a board game called Snakes.
Okay.
And it is essentially werewolf meets trivia. And I figured you would be all up on that.
I like that.
So essentially how it works is very similar to games like Werewolf and Mafia. At the beginning of each round, players are given a card, right? You're either given a card that lets you be a normal player.
Oh, so it's like a roll.
Yeah, or you're given a snake card. So the snakes are essentially like the mafia or the wolves of the game. And how it works is every trivia card is a really, really difficult multiple choice question. So it might be something like, what is there more of in the world? Sheep, pigs, or cows?
Okay.
So before the round starts, everybody closes their eyes, and then the 2 snakes are allowed to open their eyes, flip the back of the card around, and see what the right answer is. So like if you and I were the snakes, we could open our eyes, see that the right answer is sheep or whatever. And then we put the card over and we open our eyes. when the 2-minute round starts, you and me as the snakes have to convince everybody else that it's not sheep.
Okay.
So we have to get everybody to pick the wrong answer.
How do we do that?
By just pretending like we know that it's the right answer. So you got to be like, guys, I know it's fucking cows, bro. They don't even kill cows in certain countries, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? There's like a cow overpopulation crisis. And if we can get players to pick the wrong answer, we win.
Okay.
I thought it was cool because it's kind of a deception plus
it's like
trivia
faking
type
it,
of thing.
kinda.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to.
It's not just deception. You got to be smart and clever with it too.
Yeah. So how do the points work? How do you win? How do you lose?
Don't ask me. We'll find that out on my fucking birthday.
Okay.
I don't have the answers here. I mean, we've also been trying to crank out a board game show on the fucking channel for a super long time. I eventually want to get to do that.
We have a lot of board games to play. Also,
we have so many.
Many board games to play.
I have a whole.
I wish I was better at them. I'm good at like the Jackbox games, but there's some board game like I'm good at like.
Even that, I want to make some like Let's Plays and that, and just put them on the channel.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, like not to divert into like a super nerdy topic, but we're getting something for the basement called an auto pole. It's like a filmmaking rig thing. It's basically like a super heavy duty shower curtain that you can use pressure to lock onto 2 walls. And then you can hang like lights from it, cameras from it, microphones.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to be able to do like an overhead rig if we want to do like a fucking over like top board game table type show. So, stay tuned for that. We really have been trying to make that for a super long time. But yeah, a lot of board games to play.
Poker episode.
I don't know about that one.
I'm
not a poker guy.
I love poker.
I like poker too, but like I get nervous, and then people know. I'm not good at the poker face.
Neither am I. That's why it's like you just gotta fucking trash. Like you just gotta talk.
I think I could learn a thing or two from Lady Gaga, but to swing it on to another topic that I wanted to talk about, right?
Okay.
This was something that I wanted to talk about last week.
Okay.
On the podcast.
Which was
let me stop fucking interjecting. I have like a thing in my head. I have plans, all right?
And the topic is
no. So one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, and I also know that you share the exact same sentiment because it's one of the things that we bonded over very, very early in our friendship, is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, right?
Yes.
I was actually talking to somebody about this recently, and I was telling them that like when you and me met in high school in like 2010, 2011, you and I bonded over a lot of comedy movies like Dodgeball, Accepted, things like that. But for whatever reason, Anchorman was the one that you and I just always quoted. Like we'd always share.
And I think the reason why was because you really like opened my eyes to the movie.
Right.
Because when I was like, that was the one that I didn't really like. Because I really liked Talladega Nights. I really liked everything else Will Ferrell's in. Like Elf is like my favorite Christmas movie. So I always loved Will Ferrell. But then you were like, oh, and then I rewatched Anchorman when you brought it up. And then that's when I was like, oh, this is the fucking funniest movie ever.
Yeah. So Anchorman is a real near and dear like special movie to me. It was also like one thing I loved is growing up, my dad allowed me to see movies that were a little bit above my maturity rating. But I like that because I think he understood that I wasn't going to take them out of context because I was a bit more mature for my age, but also we could enjoy them together. Yeah. So Anchorman was a movie like that. So for some reason, I've seen Anchorman dozens of times ever since the first time when I was like 8 years old, And then weirdly enough, like even in high school, through talking about it was almost like coming into the years where they made Anchorman 2, right? It was like the first movie was getting all this popularity. Things were getting memed. The quotes are coming back up. Even people in our own high school were like quoting Anchorman.
Yeah, and like separate from us.
Yeah,
like, not even in our.
And I was like, "What? Like we've been doing this for like 3 years. Step the fuck off!" Like what I mean?
We're the Anchorman people.
And then sure enough. Like a year after that or 2 years after that, they announced that Anchorman 2 is coming out, which is partially where I'm getting with this. Last week, I watched Anchorman 2 for the second time. I had not watched Anchorman 2 I had not watched Anchorman 2 since the first time we watched it in theaters the day it came out in 2014, I think, something like that. It's 2013 to 15. It's something, but a very long time ago nonetheless. Yeah. And I have stuff that I want to say about it. I have stuff that I want to compare from both movies. And in general, I want to talk about Anchorman, right? But before I do that, keeping it on the topic of trivia, I've got a little bit of joystick trivia for you, Dill.
Okay.
It's like rhetorical trivia. I'm not actually asking for an answer. I'm giving you a fun fact.
Ah, okay.
Just to clarify, About a year and a half ago,
About a year and a half ago.
Shut the fuck up. You don't learn.
That wasn't that bad.
You don't learn. Do you want to fight about it?
I'm sorry.
We'll fight about it.
I feel bad.
I feel bad too. I'm sorry. All right. Ah, fuck. That didn't hurt. I'm a man. Ah, we're good. And that did hurt. That was the joke. Fucking about a year and a half ago, me and a good friend of mine, shout outs to Mark, who's heading a really awesome podcast. Shout outs to the
Correct.
Beers and Garbage podcast. You should definitely go check those guys out. Good friend of ours. He and I wanted to start a podcast that would have actually been put on Joystick about a year and a half ago. It was going to be an audio only podcast because him and I bonded over movies a lot. To be honest, I don't even remember what the name of the podcast was going to be. I remember that the word
Flicks and Dicks.
Oh, that'd been great. Now, one of the working titles was Cinematics, like addicts, you know?
Yeah.
And then I found out that was already a podcast name. I was
yeah.
like, fuck. So
It's a good name.
His good name, right? I was too late to it.
Addicts.
But it was just going to be an interesting podcast where me and him talked different movies. Every episode would be a different movie. And it would be interesting because I get the chance to talk to it from a filmmaking / critical kind of perspective where he gets to talk to it from more of like an audience perspective, right? And honestly, we recorded an episode of it, but due to our schedules, we never got a chance to continue it. And then as fate would have it, we both ended up like working on our own individual podcast kind of
And just
full-time.
making them elevate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, shout outs to them because they're doing incredible work. And I'm even trying to get on that fucking podcast pretty soon to help them out with some stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
But when Mark and I recorded that first episode, we intended to have a weekly segment where I would come up with interesting trivia for him.
Okay,
The first
cool.
episode that we recorded was of Anchorman. So I actually have a trivia segment
With
of
Anchorman
trivia
and
questions based around Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, the
Let's
first Anchorman
go.
film. So are you ready to play this?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
Don't have a name for this segment because it was just genuinely supposed to be a weekly thing on the other podcast. This is supposed to be
God, this is from the segment vault. we
Yeah.
should have that where it's like we just pull out old segments out of our ass from like 8 months ago.
man, fucking shout outs to this is tough, bro.
What?
I'm trying to come up with a name here.
Oh shit.
Movie
bro.
trivia show. God, that's horrible. That is horrible. That's terrible, dude. Oh my god, did that actually come out of my mouth? Movie trivia show.
An alien.
It's not even a show; it's a segment.
An alien makes a segment.
Shout outs to movie trivia segment. God, we are fucking falling off the rails here.
Movie trivia segment. Bro, this actually works because I have a segment that's a movie trivia segment. We should just do that segment.
Oh my god. So welcome to movie trivia segment.
Part 1.
Anchorman. And I swear if I come up with a better name in editing, that will not be it. It'll be this.
Can you do a voiceover of you
Yeah,
saying it?
yeah.
This is
Exactly. Perfect. Oh my god. That alleviates so much pressure from me.
All right,
But without further ado, I'm pretty sure this is 10 trivia questions based around the first Anchorman movie.
okay.
And we'll see how good you do.
Okay,
You
I like
ready?
this.
Let's
I
crank
like
it out
this.
with number
Yeah.
1. It's not multiple choice. It's just you give me an answer.
Number 1.
Oh, actually, this one is multiple choice. I completely lied, but they're not all multiple choice.
They're all okay.
Okay, ready? Number 1. Which of the following is not a vocal warm-up of Ron Burgundy's? Unique New York, How Now Brown Cow, Fiddle Faddle Faddle Fiddle, or The Human Torch was denied a bank loan?
I'm imagining his mouth. I'm gonna say the third one.
Fiddle Faddle Faddle
Yes.
Fiddle. That is correct, yes. The other 3 are legitimate vocal warm-ups of Ron Burgundy's. I also encourage people to check out the blooper reel of the first Anchorman movie and watch Will Ferrell and his surrounding cast members try not to fucking laugh when he's improvising all of those in the first scene of the movie. Incredible.
We love improv.
Great job. Moving it on to number 2. You got 1 for 1. What channel does KVWN News air on?
Like the number?
Mm-hmm. For what it's worth, they're more well known for the number and not for being the KVWN News team. So what channel does the KVWN News team belong to?
I actually don't know this.
Just you got to put a number to
5?
it. That was close still. They're the Channel 4 News team.
Oh.
So 1 for 2, not too bad.
I didn't know that
not
Channel
too
4.
bad, but
Yeah,
that was pretty difficult.
They're the Channel 4 news team.
You ready for number 3?
Yes.
This is personally one of my all-time favorite quotes from the movie. What does Ron think diversity is?
An old wooden ship.
That is correct. An old wooden ship used during the Civil War era. God, what a fucking...
That's even funny. That's like out of like the one-off lines, it has to be the funniest one from the
Right.
movie. None of the other ones are that good.
Great job. So that's 2 for 3.
Old wooden ship.
Although they're news team members, Brick Tamland and Champ Kind, Steve Carell, and David Koechner have also played co-workers Michael Scott and Todd Packer in what U.S. television series?
The Office?
Very good.
Okay.
I like that one, right? It's not the first time they've been co-workers together.
Oh, damn.
This fact is not too bad for being a year and a half old. Damn, I'm kind of surprising myself with the quality of these questions, but 3 for 4, Dill.
David Koechner.
Pretty proud of you. Ready for number 5?
Yeah.
What instrument does Ron play?
Oh, jazz flute.
The Yaz flute. Very good. Shout out to Fred Armisen.
I don't know. Like, it surprised me. Like, we'll get into this, I'm sure. But, like, Anchorman 2 has tons of, like, random scenes that just go off into, like...
We're going to talk deeply
like, out of
about
the stadium, right?
Oh, for
But
sure.
now that I look back on it, the jazz flute scene is completely out of place. They show up
Absolutely.
as a date. He's on the table. It's like, what the fuck is this, you know?
And honestly speaking, I don't remember the rest of these questions, and I wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff, but not to spoil anything that might be on this list, I'm going to refrain from furthering that point.
Okay, further that point later, then.
So you're 4 for 5.
Okay.
Good job so far. You know this movie.
Number 6.
We got to do these more often.
Yeah, this is fun, yeah.
Ready for number 6? Maybe we just do this movie fucking podcast. Number 6. What song does the Channel 4 news team suddenly break out into?
Afternoon Delight.
Very good. Afternoon Delight by the Starland Vocal Band.
Fun fact, that's like it happens in several different TV shows and movies.
Where they break out into songs.
Yes, there's also a scene in what's it called, Arrested Development, where Jason Bateman and Michael Cera also break out into Afternoon Delight.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I think it was like a year after, so I think Anchorman did it first.
Got it.
But it's in quite a few different.
I think we need to do one of those one day on the podcast. Just break out into a really well.
I'll do the sound effects.
Sounds good. You'll be the champ. Sounds good. You ready for number 7?
Yeah.
You're 6. You're what, 5 for 6 at
Yes.
this point? All right, you got this. During the gang fight scene, Brick's famous weapon of choice is a hand grenade. But what does Ron use? A baseball bat, a bedpost, a pitchfork, or a katana?
I'm going to go pitchfork.
I'm afraid that is incorrect. The correct answer is a bedpost.
I did not know that.
Yes, he pulls it right out of his suit. Yes.
A bedpost?
A bedpost.
I did not know that.
Yeah, watch the movie next time. It's an interesting weapon of choice.
Holy shit, I did not know that. I thought, like, that's not even like it's not like...
Not a weapon.
Yeah, it's not, it's definitely, it's an item.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But you're 5 for 7.
Okay.
Which is respectable. Okay. Ready for number 8?
Mm-hmm.
True or false? Anchorman was Seth Rogen's first film acting role.
True.
Correct answer is false. Seth Rogen's first film role was in Donnie Darko. Anchorman was his second.
I forgot he
plays the cameraman for Veronica Corningstone. Yeah. So that's a pretty hard one. Also, just not to toot my own horn, I kind of like the fact that I sprinkled in some multiple choice, some true or false. Some know the answers.
You can tell you work for a school. You know.
Thank you.
He was like, oh.
You can tell I spent a lot of time on Sporkle.
Yeah.
Number 9, you've got 5 right. You ready to move on? Okay. What Anchorman actor graduated from college with a degree in journalism?
Paul Rudd?
I'm afraid that's incorrect. The real answer is Will Ferrell. He even anchored his local news a few times before acting.
That's wild.
Kind of interesting, right?
That's
and
pretty
then you
wild.
think, damn, he's kind of good at it, right?
Yeah, he is real good.
And last but not least, arguably a pretty easy one.
Okay.
According to Ron, during his low point, what drink was a bad choice?
Milk.
Very good.
Milk was a bad choice.
Not too shabby, bud.
I did bad towards the end, though.
But you got a solid, let's see, you got
6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. Congratulations, Dill, for the 6 out of 10 on the trivia movie segment, TMS. Unless
trivia movie
Bobby
segment.
came up with a better name.
Yeah.
From here until whenever he edits.
I feel like next week I want to do a trivia. I want to do a trivia
movie segment.
Yeah, I want to do a movie segment next week. We're gonna call it the same thing. Everyone's gonna get confused.
You're inspired.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. So first of all, thank you for playing. Go ahead and comment your scores down below. Did you beat Dylan? Good chance you did. Also, before we move on to talk about the sequel to Anchorman,
yes,
I just wanted to say I was really, really happy that you got the diversity question
yeah,
right, because that really is one of my favorite fucking lines.
It's such a good fucking line. It's
better.
It's better than it's better than like whale's vagina. I think it's better than all.
When I was a kid, that was like comedy pinnacle for me. But as I've grown older, it really is lines like the diversity one that just send me over the fucking cliff. Like I love that so much.
And just, I don't know, saying any line in confidence is always
absolutely.
good. Like, Will Ferrell's the best at that.
It's like the deludedness of it.
It's like he believes what he's saying.
Deludedness? The delusion? I don't know. There's a word for it. Don't worry. But swinging it on pretty effortlessly into the sequel. Yeah, I watched Anchorman 2. I think it's called The Legend Continues.
Yes.
For the first time since I saw it for the first time in theaters, which was almost maybe like 8 to 9 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, like 2014, 2015.
And we even had a chance to watch a bit of it last week after the podcast, which is pretty cool. Man, honestly, just forgot how fucking funny that movie is. Albeit, I don't find it as enjoyable as the first one, but it is right up there.
It has so many jokes.
So that's the thing. I feel like Anchorman 2 really dials, like it doubles down on the surreal humor.
I triples down. I would say it is all about like not even subverting expectations, but like meeting them almost.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna do the joke and then we're gonna do another one.
Yeah, like the best way I could describe it is the first 2 acts of the movie are pretty fucking solid, right? It's like Ron is washed up, loses his job to Veronica, gets an opportunity, has to wrangle the old team back together. They get the graveyard shift on a 24-hour news network. He makes a bet saying that he'll pull better ratings than the guy who gets the primetime slot. And then in a weird act of happenstance, Ron and the team end up actually creating what is modern news, where stories are based around, pets, animals, car chases.
Viral stuff.
Exactly, right? Putting weatherman in the middle of weather storms and introspective fucking research pieces about the stupidest things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what the news essentially is now, an entertainment piece. So up until like the third act of the movie's like really kind of interesting in the way that it like, again, like I said, it's a really dumb, stupid, surreal comedy. But even in that, it's like, oh, this is a really well made satire.
It works as a perfect it is a perfect satire of news. I would say it's like Big Short level satire.
It even low-key makes youth like think like, oh shit, the news is kind of stupid. Like, compared to what it used to be where they just told you what was fucking happening in the world, right? But then there's that third act where Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy, becomes blind. Yeah. And then raises a shark.
Yeah.
Bottle feeds it.
Lives in a lighthouse. Raises a shark.
I'm blind. And then, honestly speaking, the first time I watched that movie when I was younger, when we were like in high school, and I saw that scene, and the movie just went that complete other direction, I was like, "What the fuck?"
I remember at the time, like, I remember having a conversation specifically where it was like you or like Joey or somebody was like really mad at that scene.
I think we were both kind of upset.
Yeah, I think both of you were kind of upset, and I was like, I thought it was funny. You know what I mean? Like,
and after,
it was not a good way for it to go at the time. But even then, like, as someone who likes No Country for Old Men and shit like that, like, it's kind of like I saw that and I was like, oh.
And to further what I was going for, on my second rewatch, I do have to say I guess I still agree with how out of place that scene and that whole storyline is, but fucking hilarious. Holy shit, man. I mean, I think the one thing that it dials down to is how funny Will Ferrell is as an actor. I mean, everybody in that movie bounces so well off of each other, but Will as Ron is just...
I honestly, the movie scene that I forgot about entirely was the whole dynamic between him and his son. and like Michael J. Fox. I'm not Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear.
And it's one of the most beautiful things ever because it's like I forgot about that whole scene.
Yeah.
Is he tries to punch him several times. It's like great. You read my mind.
That read my
yeah,
mind?
yeah, yeah. And then his kid is like, you read my mind, and it's like, oh, I totally...
And then at the end, he actually is a telekinetic.
Yeah.
Yep. Fucking
Right.
what else was I gonna say? A lot of celebrity cameos, which I thought was fucking. I don't remember at all.
A ton.
Like in different facets too. Like you have the people who show up for a little joke. Like Drake is in a joke at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten Dunst plays that goddess who's on the roof and blows the horn to start the gang fight. And then there's the gang fight in general where you have like Sacha Baron Cohen, Kanye West, Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Amy Poehler, Tina Fey,
all the other guys,
Liam Neeson. It just
and then
goes
Vince
on
Vaughn
and on.
when he shows up.
Vince Vaughn comes back as fucking what's this guy's name? I know this. I made the trivia segment. What the hell is my guy? Vince Mantooth and fucking Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. But one thing I thought was interesting, like I guess because the second movie came out so much later, and it technically is considered like a modern movie in the 2010 era or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks better than Anchorman 1. Like, visually, it like the cameras look sharper, the cameras look clearer. It actually looks like a modern film, and I kind of don't like that. I kind of like the fuzziness, the weird quality, because it was a movie that took place in the 70s, so it kind of had like this old-timey feel, and because it was a comedy, it felt lighthearted. Whereas this one feels slightly more pretentious, but that's just me getting on like a cinematography binge.
I don't know. I feel like they're both completely like very overlooked films. Anchorman and Anchorman 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're not only satires, but they're also period pieces.
Yeah.
And they do it off quite like the first one's like the early mid-70s, and the second one is like going into the 80s almost.
And I would argue that the first one is a better like timepiece.
Yeah.
Like, but
definitely.
And also to further that, well, to stay in this realm for 1 second, one thing I thought that kind of ties into the whole time thing, those movies actually have really great soundtracks. Especially the second one. I honestly forgot how great those soundtracks are.
It's very good.
But also, it's like, I was trying to explain this to somebody too. I was like, Anchorman, weirdly enough, and I'm talking about the first movie, it almost feels like Anchorman 1 isn't actually about Ron, and it's actually about Veronica. Because the whole theme of the movie is how difficult it is for a woman to work in a male-dominated workforce in a time period where women were mainly overlooked in, workforces like that in general, right? So it almost feels like the person you're rooting for the entire film is Veronica. And then you get that whole like redemption story in 2 where it's like, no, now we're going to follow Ron. Now it's his time to make like now Ron is going to go through the trenches, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So I thought that was interesting, and I think that the first one plays better to that whole like that whole idea of like sexism in the workplace and themes like that, because it's also a great satire in that sense too. So like you said, like those movies are really overlooked in how well written they are in terms of like what they satirize in the first place. Like that's really great.
Yeah, but if you made it like any of other like let's say any of other like Adam McKay's films, it wouldn't be haha funny. And
it's like
that's
the
what
other
I care
end
about.
of the spectrum.
That's what I care
like,
about.
It's smart satire. Well, not to say Anchorman's isn't smart, but it's presented in a smarter way.
The humor is not.
It's not surreal. It's not in your face. It's not wacky. It's more like you have to understand it to get why it's funny.
Whereas Anchorman, they're pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. Adam McKay's Big Short, right?
Yeah, Adam McKay.
Vice.
I think he did 3 with. Or 4 with Farrell. He did Anchorman, Talladega, and then he did another one.
Anchorman 2.
Yeah, but he did there was like a 3-peat. I don't remember what the third one was.
I think it is just those 3. I don't think he did Step Brothers with them.
No, Step Brothers is someone else, but I saw there was like a...
Also, on the other end of that spectrum, shout outs to overrated films like Step Brothers. Not trying to start that war, but...
Wait, what?
Step Brothers being overrated as shit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not that funny in my opinion.
I think the thing with Step Brothers is it really catered to that like who we were when that movie came out, like teenagers of that era, that whole nutsack on a drum set type thing.
My brother's it's the type of movie that my brother's friends found very funny. I see what I mean?
Don't get me wrong, I laughed my fucking ass off when I first watched it, but yeah. So that's my spiel on Anchorman 2, and an Anchorman segment. It's like a whole fucking trilogy of Anchorman fucking chapters in this podcast.
It's crazy.
It's kind of nuts. I really did it.
Yeah.
Proud of myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. Can you pull up Adam McKay's filmography, by the way?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm very interested in that now.
I don't really remember it being that expansive.
No, it's pretty short because he also did the George Bush movie with the Dick Cheney one.
Vice?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up as director.
Because he has, I think on his wiki, it's like he has producers as well. He has like some.
As director, he's done Anchorman. He did Wake Up Ron Burgundy, but that's like it's like a short thing that came out with it. But his main ones are Anchorman, Talladega Nights. Oh, he did direct Step Brothers.
Yeah, okay, that's it then. Yes.
The Other Guys.
Yes.
Great movie.
Yes,
he
that's
produced The Campaign.
Yes.
He directed Anchorman 2, produced Get Hard, was a writer for Ant-Man.
Yes.
The Big Short, Vice, and then Don't Look Up was his newest.
That's
one.
good. That's a good film. That's a really good filmography.
Yeah, man, The Other Guys. That's another movie that I hadn't seen since I was a little kid, and I rewatched it, and I was like, holy fuck, this movie's hilarious. Gators bitches better be wearing jiffies.
What a weird like thing to put in a movie, but it works so beautifully.
Dude, I know we did like a whole podcast just talking about like our comedy movie actor influences, but I feel like we could just do a whole episode about Will Ferrell.
He's
honestly.
the best. He's so funny.
Not only is he so funny, I feel like he's so influential to our sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because he's been in fucking everything that we loved, right? You think about it, we could probably devote a whole episode of fucking Who's Line too.
Oh,
as we should.
100%.
As we should.
And
embarrass ourselves with scenes from a hat.
Throwing, I'll do, hey, do that, bro. Do that at your fucking party. I'll do that shit. I'll do some improv, bro.
My God.
I'll do some improv. Joey and my girlfriend are way better than everyone else. We'll be like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Bro, we should actually do a Who's Line episode.
Yeah.
It's like we both care about it. There's mad shit there. Now I'm reeling.
Now we're craving it, yeah.
Dude, there's like legit a vault of podcast episodes that we just have to sift through. Because, like, honestly speaking, when we first started to make the Joystick show a very long time ago.
Oh, the original Inception.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not that one. Like, when we started.
The current, yes.
2020. Like,
the current iteration.
Yes, the current iteration. What would that be? 2.0? Now we're like 2.2, something like that.
I don't know how shit works.
Me neither. I'm not a firmware guy. That's Jerry. Nah, but fucking we had like a whole, like, literally the first week or two that we made the podcast, we like sat down and we were like, we're gonna do this episode and this episode and then to this episode, and then we didn't do any of them. We just kind of took it as
that
the
required
weeks went
organization,
by,
that required research,
which not that many of us here have, or at least not many of us apply to the thing we should apply to.
It depends. Sometimes we do.
No, that's the sad thing. We're all very organized people. We just don't apply it to this.
I'm not, but
I think you're organized.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
I appreciate it. I don't know why I appreciate it.
I'm about to say, I'm like, wait, what? I like your shirt. This helps me more than it helps you.
Anyway, are you I was going to say, are you time for Jam Yam? Are you time?
4:22.
Are you ready for Jam Yam time?
Am I?
Why are you making this weird, man? Just say yes to the question that I'm asking.
What is readiness?
So we could talk about our music recommendations for the week.
What is readiness?
Yours being the yam and mine being the jam. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Do you want to start?
I don't remember the name of my song.
All right.
Actually, I do.
I'll go ahead and I'll start.
Okay.
My jam of the week is going to go to a song called STOKYO Drift by Cemetery Drive.
Nice.
Also, real quick.
Is this a horrorcore song?
No.
It sounds like a techno horrorcore song.
Nah, they're like a rap group. They're pretty fire.
Oh, nice.
But I just wanted to say a quick shout out. So I'm going to play this song for Dylan both of these songs for Dylan afterwards. I was hanging out with Jerry and Jessica last night, and we pulled up a playlist on Spotify called like the stupidest songs ever made. And one of them played, it's called The Hockey Song by Stompin' Tom Connors. It's like this old folk song where he's like, and then Bobby made the shot at the hockey game. Okay. So Jerry bet that I wouldn't learn every word to that song. So see me in a week.
When you know every word.
When I know every word of the hockey
Bobby's
song.
hockey game.
And then we listened to another song called Send Bobs by somebody named Hovey Benjamin. And we were listening to the song.
I think I know him.
And we just found out that it's literally just like, like Indian sex bot chat things, and you just put it into like a really nice sounding song. So it's like Send
know
me
Homie
send me
Benjamin.
naked pic. Hello, bitch, lasagna. Your bob's very big. I'm kiss your bob. So, let's have sexy sex, cloth off. I am not doing sex with my mom. So you should give it a listen because it's a whole fucking interesting audible experience. But my jam is going to go to STOKYO Drift by Cemetery Drive.
Very cool. My yam of the week is Goosebumps by Italia.
It's kind of a cool name.
It's a very cool name. I don't know what this band is. I don't know. Like, I know some people are like really big on that. Like, they have to like research the artist and who they are, how many people are in the band. Me, I don't know. This band, is it a man? Is it a woman? Are there guitarists? Is there a drummer? I don't know. But
have those answers.
It's real funky. It has a really cool beat. All their other stuff is like acoustic, but this one's like kind of like indie. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they're real good. Whole album's good. Has like a stick figure on it. He's like,
fire.
Yeah, you'll see.
Well, that was a fun one. It's been a
nice.
while since you and I had a little duo episode.
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
I got
how
a
long
segment
it's been.
for you next week.
Is it going to be a movie trivia?
Yes, it is going to be a movie trivia segment.
Get ready for that one.
It's gonna be great.
To bring it back, going full circle to the spiel we gave you at the beginning of the episode, it'd be really helpful if you could like episode 114 of the Joystick Show, which was the one you just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd also be really helpful if you could go down and hit subscribe to Team Joystick. That's us. We're the guys who make this podcast. Put a lot of work, put a lot of effort into it, put a lot of jokes and love and sugar, spice, everything nice, little dash chemical X, and you get episode 114 of the Joystick Show. I've been Bobby. That's been Dylan. You can go ahead and leave a comment down below with your score on the movie trivia segment and also what your favorite part in either of the Anchorman movies are. And for all of us here at Team Joystick, I'm Robert Rosario. You stay classy, Internet. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.